Welcome back to On the Rise, as Jacen Russell-Rowe, one of the most exciting Canadian talents, has truly found his name in the Canadian transfer headlines and is now building a transfer saga, as an unknown Scottish side has approached Columbus Crew, making multiple bids for the 21-year-old Canadian international who was with the side at Copa America and has now had those bids rejected. It is now being reported that Scottish club has been revealed to be Celtic, the biggest side within Scotland, one of the biggest sides in world football, with, of course, a huge and rich tapestry within the world of football. And this would be an unbelievable move for Jacen Russell-Rowe. Whichever way you want to go about it, this would be a great move for Jacen Russell-Rowe. Celtic would be an ideal destination for the young Canadian striker for so many different reasons, which we will dive into. But this was first reported from Tom Bogert, who announced there was an unknown Scottish side placing multiple bids for Jacen Russell-Rowe at Columbus Crew. And that was reported to be Celtic via the Celtic Star, via Scottish Sun, the One Football, Yahoo Sports, MSN. Everybody then went on to report that Celtic were that side approaching Jacen Russell-Rowe to go and land the Canadian striker. And this is an unbelievable circumstance for Jacen Russell-Rowe, because this would be an ideal transfer. And yes, before we truly dive into this, guys, make sure to drop down below for a comment and let me know, do you guys want to see Jacen Russell-Rowe at Celtic? Celtic supporters, would you guys like to see Jacen Russell-Rowe at your club, and how would he fit in to Brendan Rodgers' system? Let me know down below, but also hit that sub button, drop a like, and we're going to jump straight into things, because Jacen Russell-Rowe to Celtic would be a great move. And because Jacen Russell-Rowe would then be joining a squad which has such high expectations, a rich football history, high demands on a weekly basis, but also, like I talked about in my last video, would have a seamless transition and have a Canadian at the club who would help him ease that situation, ease that transition into Europe, and ease him into a huge club. Alistair Johnston is already at Celtic. He's a huge fan favorite, and they're ideally looking at his teammate at the international level and addressing their striker situation at the club. Celtic right now only has one striker on the roster, and that is Kyogo. Kyogo is a sensational striker. He's the number one man. He is their star player. And right now, Brendan Rodgers has come out saying he wants 3 strikers on the roster, 2 being first teamers and senior strikers, and 1 being a developmental striker. So for me, Jacen Russell-Rowe could either be that senior striker and could be that second man off the bench, or he could be that developmental striker. He could be there for cup competitions, he could be rotational, or he could just be that developmental guy who they send out on loan. It's not 100% certain that Brendan Rodgers wants 3 on the main roster or 3 just at the club, because right now, Celtic only has 1 striker, and that is Kyogo, like I've said, guys. Previously, last year, they did have Adam Ida, who has left the club back to his parent side in Norwich, and right now Celtic and Norwich are going through a negotiation battle to try and get Adam Ida back, who had 8 goals and 2 assists last season in the Scottish Premiership with Celtic. But right now, they simply only have 1 striker on the roster. So this makes complete sense for Jacen Russell-Rowe to be linked with a move for Celtic. And it, of course, makes sense as well. Celtic identifying a position of need, going to Alistair Johnston. He's, of course, a huge fan favorite. Of course, Canada is an up-and-coming nation with rich talent right now, with a lot of players coming through our nation. Whether you look at Moise Bombito, Derek Cornelius, there's lots of players coming through Canada. And Jacen Russell-Rowe is a great prime example of that. A 21-year-old striker playing with one of the best sides in the MLS, coached by one of the best managers in the MLS, and has an extremely high ceiling, having 5 goals, 1 assist at 21 years of age this season as a rotational striker for Columbus Crew behind Cucho Hernandez. Jacen Russell-Rowe has all of the attributes and traits to be able to make that jump to Scottish football. He's 5'10", he has a bigger frame, he's not a small striker, and he'll be able to play with that physical style of football. Yes, he's not the same height as Adam Ida was, Adam Ida being 6'3", and likes of Jacen Russell-Rowe being about 5'10". There's, of course, that clear difference in height. But Jacen Russell-Rowe has a bigger frame, he has a bigger stature, he can hold up the ball as well. He does need to learn that style side of his game, in my opinion, a bit more, but also his finishing is very good. And at such a young age, you can see it's there, he just needs to be developed a bit more. But Jacen Russell-Rowe would be a fantastic option as the number 2 if they can't go out there and get Adam Ida. If they can't clear up the finances with the likes of Norwich and figure out the price range and that price tag for Adam Ida, it just makes sense why Jacen Russell-Rowe is being linked and is being targeted by Celtic. It's now confirmed they're that club that has made multiple approaches, multiple bids to Columbus Crew. Like I said, it makes clear sense with a fan favorite like Alistair Johnston, like a Canadian, seeing Canada's rise at the international level. It just makes sense that they have their eye on Jacen Russell-Rowe. And after seeing what a Canadian at the Old Bear managed last season in the SPFL, Celtic are clearly going and identifying another Canadian and saying if he can do it, let's see if Jacen Russell-Rowe can do it, tap the talent in the MLS, and if they can get ahead of anyone else there, he is in a clear stepping stone, whether it's be the backup for Kyogo, be a loan player. It's just a great piece of business because it's not going to be a huge chunk of money. And when you look at Kyogo right now at Celtic, he's 29 years of age. He's not a young striker, a young number 9 per se. And this would make Jacen Russell-Rowe 8 years younger than Kyogo. So clearly, there is an option there for him to step in after Kyogo moves on, and then Jacen Russell-Rowe takes over that number 9 role. Or Jacen Russell-Rowe could be that developmental player. Send him out on loan, have him as a cup match player, per se. But there's so many options here, and it makes complete sense why Jacen Russell-Rowe would be that fit and would be the guy that Celtic are targeting. They clearly have the money, like I identified. Rangers and Celtic are those clubs with that amount of money that can target an MLS player and that can hit that amount of fee that they'd be looking for. Like I said, Jacen Russell-Rowe is a player who is valued at 2 million euros. So more than likely, Columbus Crew are a side that right now aren't in the position that they have to sell. So Celtic are going to have to hit above their valuation. So they're probably going to be looking at 2.5, 3.5, 4 million even to get Jacen Russell-Rowe away from Columbus Crew and away from the MLS. Because at 21 years of age, Columbus Crew sees the value. He's a young Canadian striker that can see Canadians all over right now, making big money moves, being identified as the target, as that rising nation that a lot of clubs are going to look to tap the market of. And it just makes sense why Celtic are tapping that market. Like I said, for so many reasons. Alistair Johnston, a clear, probably pivotal player in this move as well, or in the reason they're moving for Jacen Russell-Rowe. Having one striker on the roster currently and going through a bidding war for Adam Ida, I really think they get Adam Ida back. So that would give you Adam Ida, Jacen Russell-Rowe, and Kyogo, your 3 strikers that Brendan Rodgers wants. The 2 seniors would probably be Kyogo and Adam Ida, of course, sending out Jacen Russell-Rowe on the developmental role. Whether that's a loanee situation or whether that's a cup competition situation, that's yet to be decided or confirmed. But Brendan Rodgers has clearly stated he wants 3 strikers. So for so many reasons, guys, this move just makes sense. And especially playing under their top manager, high expectations at a club like Celtic, who are going to be demanded the utmost best every week. This is just a very exciting move for Jacen Russell-Rowe, and I think it's a great fit. It's a great club for him to ease into from the MLS and go to Europe, because ideally in the MLS, you need to make that right jump, you need to make that right club and join the right side, or else things can just spin out of control and you could end up back in the MLS, or your career could just easily fade away. So I think making the right move out of the MLS is extremely important. And I think right here, this could be the perfect move for Jacen Russell-Rowe and just a right fit for him as well. So Celtic have made multiple approaches. They've made multiple bids. They have been rejected. They have not met the valuation from Columbus Crew. So right now, it's just that situation. Can they meet the valuation? Do they want to move and agree on personal terms with Jacen Russell-Rowe? Because that's when you know things are more than likely real and moving in the right direction, that they really want him. So we will see in the coming days if this move advances into those final stages, if they can get the personal terms agreed, and then go from there. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. But for me, I would love to see Jacen Russell-Rowe move to Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Should he go to Celtic and start that European journey, or should he stay at Columbus Crew and try to win the MLS this season under a very good side with Cucho Hernandez leading the line with Wilfred Nancy, the best manager in the MLS? Let me know your guys' opinions down below, especially Celtic fans. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Drop a comment down below. hit that like button, drop a sub. It means the world to me, guys. We're so close to 400 subscribers. It means the absolute world to me, guys. And we're just going to keep trying to give out the best Canadian football content. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.